I think we all are in agreement that the place to start is Caitlin Clark. She has gotten some attention the past few years. People may have heard of her. Number 1 seed Iowa in Albany. We don't know their opponent yet. Their bracket is, well, let me just start there. Sabrina, how do you feel about this bracket? We obviously have a potential LSU rematch looming, but besides that, what do you think of the pathway here for Iowa to get back to the Final Four and maybe check that final box in this insane college career that Caitlin has been able to put together?
Yeah, just my immediate reaction from the selection show when we saw the reveal of Albany 2 was, oh my goodness, region of death, which I typed in all caps in our Slack. And I think I had to write not for the live vlog because I wasn't sure if things were going in. But just one team after another, it was just, oh, Kansas State's in Iowa's region. That's tough. They've already played them twice this year and split those. Oh, Colorado's in Iowa's region. That's a team that's already beaten LSU this year. Oh, LSU's there. Like, we could get a rematch of the national title game. Oh, UCLA is there. Like, maybe the most talented roster in college basketball outside of Columbia, South Carolina. And I'm sure I'm forgetting other names like Creighton, is the 7 seed. They beat Iowa in the tournament 2 years ago. Familiar Iowa foe Drake is in that bracket. I mean, just a lot of potential for rematches, which I think are always hard in the NCAA tournament. And then just really, really high-level teams. I mean, there were 12 teams that were ranked in the top 3 of the AP poll at one point this season, and 5 of them are in that region. So it's some star power, and no one more exemplifies that than Caitlin Clark, because it's interesting to think at this time last year, I was covering her Sweet 16 and Elite 8 games in Seattle, and there were actually like significant numbers of empty seats in that arena. And fast forward a week later, they're dethroning South Carolina, playing LSU in front of 10 million people on national television. And now, we're talking about whether the women's final is going to outdraw the men's final. And can you get tickets to an Iowa game? Like, the hotels in Albany are already just completely sold out. It's a ridiculous endeavor trying to just get there at this point. I think we're about a year anniversary from when Caitlin Clark became the national phenomenon that is Caitlin Clark. And it's weird to think that, at this point, you could still just walk up and talk to her, and it wasn't a huge big deal. And now she is the most recognizable college athlete, I believe, in America, and deserving of all those honors. A leading scorer in college basketball history, 4th all-time in assists, has led the country in points and assists twice over the same season. The game winners, logo threes, she's got everything. And it stands to reason that we talk about her all this much, because she's awesome and she's going to be the National Player of the Year, and she's going to have to be excellent for Iowa to get out of this region.
The other thing I would even just, the hype of her is also it's just going to keep extending. I mean, the Final Four is happening in Cleveland. The ticket prices for Final Four games for the women are right now, if you look at the data that's been put out there, is higher than the men's right now because of it. And I'm sorry, that's at least somewhat because of her, because of speculation that she could get there.
And that's why, Chris, you're not being blessed with my presence in Cleveland, with all love.
Yeah, you're
once
once
it became clear I was not getting credentialed for that event because I didn't have anywhere to do that for, I was like, yeah, no, we're good.
Yeah, I'm just looking forward to when
effect equals me not visiting you.
Yeah, it's fine. You're gonna come in the fall, and at some point you're gonna be like, I just really wanted to see Darius Garland and Isaac Okoro play basketball. But I get it, my brother. I understand. But even going forward, this is anecdotal. But I have an uncle who lives in New York. He's an Iowa fan. He's in an Iowa boosters group. He's already been told that a Caitlin Clark Liberty game is sold out in the city, and they're talking about buying tickets in an $80 package secondhand, and that they have to buy them now or otherwise they're going to go up. And I'm like, this is only going to keep building. I think to your point, Sabrina, she's going to have to just be incredible, and I think we kind of saw that in the Big Ten Championship. That game really didn't tilt in their favor. She wasn't the one who put the final nails in the coffin, so to speak, but it was because of how good she was in the second half after a poor first half. That is why they even won the Big Ten tournament in the first place. She's going to have, if not full games, a lot of halves, I think, for them to pull this off and for her to get the one thing that she doesn't have in her resume right now.
Yeah, and it's weird to think that, we think of the Big Ten championship as a bad game for her at halftime, because you look at the box score and what does Caitlin finish with? 34 points, 12 assists, 3 steals,
casual,
7 rebounds,
Normal.
She has the game-winning step back with under a minute left in overtime. she got the Tim Legler, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like the video board treatment on ESPN afterwards. Yeah, she's just the coolest.
Speaking of that, it was kind of funny that they were like, he's been dying to talk about her all season, and now we let him. I'm like, what was in the way before? I don't like. I know he doesn't go on like College Game Day. He's not quite the the cast member for that show. But Tim, open invitation to come on. We'll let you use your iPad and hold it up to your webcam, whatever is needed.
We can telestrate
anytime.
on StreamYard, right? Like that's the word.
Yeah. They're designing
that's
it. They're adding the capability as we speak.